had this haunting fear that the further we get into this podcast, the more comfortable you get, and the stupider the statements are going to be coming out of your mouth.
Stupider? Are you kidding me? You can't. You know how much money people would pay to hang out with me?
No.
I'm sorry. No,
I don't know. I don't know that's ever happened.
Do you know how much money people were paid to hang out with me? I think that's what I needed to say. There's companies paid to say, go hang out with Brendan. And they're like, I'm only here because they're paying me. I just thought they were my friends. All right, here we are at 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Rapid Fire Brendan. Today, we're going rapid fire rounds. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Speaking of the good, how you doing, Dad?
I want to just talk about the good, because that's the kind of guy I am.
That's very true. Don, how you doing?
I'm really enjoying these teams desperately trying to get people to buy tickets through Twitter. Every single team is out there. And listen, you cannot... People who read Twitter are not suddenly going to get this idea that they're going to go to the ballpark now because they read your tweet. Number one, if they're following you, they're going to buy tickets. Number two, if they're not following you, they're not buying tickets because you tweeted.
So, is it fair to say that the teams who are doing this on Twitter are also trying to do this on TikTok? And if you were to argue that the attention span of those two platforms probably don't make it through a baseball game.
Oh, unless you have this pitch clock now. This pitch clock is really juicing things up. This is fantastic.
I'm not, there is no disagreement that if we were to talk about the good right off the bat, it's the pitch clock. I can't get any better than, I can't call it great yet or marvelous, but I will tell you, I am reminded of when I go to a hockey game. If you're not in your seat when that puck is dropped, you may not sit down for a while. If
they don't care, yeah.
The inning starts, the inning may be over. The idea of going to the concession stand, getting food for 15 minutes and you're on the second batter is done. It's done. So the other thing that I would like to challenge, this is the other problem. Pitching clock's great. Concession stands, the pressure is on you. You've got to feed these people quickly and get them back to their seats. I have been to baseball games. Concessions is very slow. They're one of the slowest in the game. You could miss 3 innings getting a cheeseburger. And if you're missing 3 innings, the fans are not going to be happy. So you got to figure this out. You got to use some tablets. You got to use some maybe order with an app, walk up and get your food. I don't care what you got to do. But the concessions may get ugly this year because you're missing so much baseball, which I never thought I would ever say in my life. I never thought I would say. I went to concessions and I missed 4 innings.
Yeah. You know, what I find really interesting is Max Scherzer is really testing the limits of this pitch clock thing. You watch his interviews, he actually lost a double play today because of the pitch clock. Threw right after the pitch clock, batter swing, ground ball, turned the double play. The whole thing was called off, and it was called a ball because he didn't pitch before it hit 0. So,
but that's what and I would think that the great pitchers like the old Brave staff, this is what you should be doing this spring training with the pitching clock. This is how you use it.
Right.
I was reading what Scherzer said. What he's playing around with is that the pitcher can control the pace of the game. Like for a batter, you throw it with 1 second left, and the next pitch you throw it right away. With 8 seconds left, and you keep the batter off his game by just messing with the clock.
Right.
Yeah. No. It's definitely better than icing each other out, because that's what we got to. We got to the point of icing each other out. The other thing that he did comment on as well, and this is good stuff. The batter can only step out of the box or call time, I believe, once, right? And that's
just once. Yeah, just once.
That is a huge difference. Like, I don't think people understand. Again, people stopped watching baseball because of this problem. So a batter would call time several times in an at-bat and just throw people off. And especially if you had a runner on base. And if, Daddy, you recall runners on base, they're looking back and forth, the batter's up there. Ooh, you can make that batter just sweat it out.
I do see that with a man on base, it goes from 15 to 20 seconds with man on base.
Yeah.
But I love what we're seeing. I love how the great pitchers, the good pitchers are having fun with this. Speaking of the, I'm going to call it the bad, switching over to the bad in my opinion. Bauer needs to get signed.
Too early.
But it's bad that he's not signed because the pitch clock is really great for a guy like Bauer because, again, he played with every rule baseball had. So I could see him really having a good time with this, especially in spring training. And I'm missing out on that because he's not signed. So I think he should be signed.
The team that eventually signs him has to sell the fans that he can get us into the playoffs. And it's too early to make that pitch. Whoever signs him now.
Whoa. Too early to make a pitch that you're going to the playoffs? Do you know how many teams are making the pitch that they're going to the playoffs right now?
That's true. Is anybody believing them?
I mean, they're all making the pitch.
Did you see what the Texas Rangers put out today?
I would love to hear what the Texas... Please tell me more about my favorite team, the Texas Rangers.
So they put out a tweet that says, "Be here for the ascension." Now, for those of you who are Christian, ascension means something different than it does in this Rangers tweet, because all I'm thinking of is, so after Easter, there's maybe Ascension Thursday, there's a baseball special in Texas. They're tapping into the Bible Belt Christian market that, be here for the Ascension. We'll do a dramatic reenactment of the Ascension at the Rangers Stadium and have Jesus, elevate above the field, and then in a flash of light, he'll disappear. So no, that is not what it is. They're talking about the team, the actual baseball team. And so they brought in...
Hold on a second. They actually called...
They said, "Be here for the Ascension." I'm sure we can get a clip put up on, so that everybody can see this tweet. It's pure gold. So they have I don't know this artist, and I don't want to bash the artist because artists work hard and everything, and I'm sure he got paid. But he goes on a rant, a rap, a deaf poetry thingamabob about everything the Rangers did in the off season to make themselves competitive. It is delicious.
Baseball is back, but no wake-up call needed, because this offseason we succeeded. We put in work, went on a spree, got Bochy, DeGrom, Evaldi, but we don't hang banners for signings, no. We gotta grab our silver lining. Rangers Nation, let's change the expectation. If you aren't excited, you're not paying attention. Our arrow is up. Be here for the ascension.
I just remember I was watching it and I just broke down in so much laughter because this poor guy is like tasked with selling tickets.
Okay, so he clearly is excited about DeGrom.
That's one of the first things he mentions.
Okay, that makes sense. But did he mention that they didn't get Trey Turner? Because that should be mentioned.
Well, he did say they got stronger in the off season.
Stronger? Mm.
And Bob, I'm wondering if that's because they were helping to load the grocery aisles and bring groceries to people's cars when they had their players at the grocery store. I'm not sure.
They did spend money. This is the second year in a row. I mean, this is year 2 of the rebuilding.
Well, listen, if you're going to spend money, hiring a rapper to promote the team that's a way to go.
Were there's any excessive jewelry?
A little bit, not too much. I think the mid '90s, the guys that we I'm such a rap connoisseur. The guys in the mid '90s, I think, you peaked with Mr. T, and then it kind of spread a little. It's not as much anymore.
But we're not talking about the billionaire rappers. We're not talking about Drake. We're not talking about Jay-Z. We're not talking about the guys who are like worth billions of dollars and could buy the Texas Rangers. We're talking about a rap song about the Texas Rangers ascension. That's the word they use, correct? The ascension.
Correct.
Not a word I would use. So if we're going to use terminology like this, would we call Oakland, is that like the crucifixion? Come see the crucifixion? Like, can we just have Mel?
No, I mean
the stuff here.
What are you ascending to? Third place?
70 wins, maybe.
Maybe fourth place, right?
If they can't beat the Angels.
The Angels, you got the Mariners.
They're not beating the Mariners, everybody. The Mariners are really, really good.
Are they in the same division with the Astros?
They are.
Angels and Mariners.
What are you ascending to? Who put this tweet out?
They're ascending. They had 68 wins last year. They're going to ascend over Oakland, who they will crucify.
This is why I want on a loop Sebastian Maniscalco asking people, aren't you embarrassed?
Something's wrong in the country.
Thanks, Rangers. Thanks, Twitter.
It's the marketing department. Has nothing to do with baseball.
The Tigers said the two Meadows boys will never not be cool, not recognizing the fact that the Detroit Tigers themselves are not cool.
They haven't cut Javier Baez, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
I know they have him for like 6 more years, so it's kind of early to give up on the program.
But be fair. Javier Baez was part of one of the best base running plays of all time. Like by far. Do you remember this play where he hits a ground ball and he goes?
That was fast.
I do.
Baez hits it on the ground to third. Gonzalez. This is so good. Oh my goodness! Wow! You got to be kidding me! You've got to be kidding me! They stole a run. You have got to be kidding me, Javi Baez. Keep going. Go. You're invincible. El Mago indeed.
I don't disagree with you. It's fantastic.
It's one of those weird things. Like you think the baseball play is going to be routine, and then when it's not routine, and like suddenly everybody's brain blows up. It's it's like that Mickey Mantle diving back to first base as soon as he saw that the force out was off, right?
Yeah.
So
you'll like to assume that professional baseball players are thinking before the play that there's 2 outs. I just got to get him out at first, and they don't lock out. But, I suppose baseball's daydream. Haven't we seen plays where the guys catch the second out and throw the ball into the stands or something like that?
Oh,
the runners are running around the base.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even better, that the runner doesn't know that there's only 1 out.
Yeah.
Or they think there's more than 1 out, that type of thing. The World Baseball Classic's coming up.
Yes.
I have to confess, I don't care.
Well,
that's fair.
Bullshit patriotism.
What's that?
Where's your patriotism?
In what?
Your country.
Dominican Republic's going to win it. I mean, as far as I can tell, every time I look at the Dominican Republic lineup, it's completely stacked. But I think there's enough players that have bowed out of this thing. So, not worth it, risk of getting injured or something. And isn't the World Baseball Classic the World Series? Isn't that like the best players in the world playing? Right?
Where do they play this classic?
I thought they played it here, right? Don't they play it in Russ?
I don't know. If they're playing in the United States, the question is why? If you're doing a World Classic, why didn't you take it to a country you're trying to sell baseball to? Play it in...
Where are you going to go? Dubai?
Mexico is close enough. You don't have to go over to South Korea or something, but...
Okay, so they're going to be okay. Where are they going to be here? They have it in several different places. Looks like they're going to be in Miami and Phoenix. Looks like they may also be in Tokyo. Yeah, they're going to be in Japan, Taiwan.
There we go.
Phoenix and Miami.
Yeah.
So it is actually around the world.
So Pool C has, so at Arizona, again, more great baseball for Arizonans.
What are the teams?
Here you go. Pool C in Arizona is going to have USA, Mexico, Colombia, Canada, Great Britain. So I'm going to just say Great Britain is the Texas Rangers in that pool, right?
Great Britain is the Oakland A's.
Fair. That's fair. But Texas and Oakland are interchangeable in my mind.
Yeah.
Pool D in Miami. This is where you have the powerhouses, correct?
Okay.
Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Israel, and Nicaragua. So we can tell who's the top teams in the Pool D. Now, Pool C face off against Pool D to get to the championship. So I would say that Pool D has the best talent, as Todd was saying, with the Dominican Republic, Venezuela, also Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Now, Pool A over in Taiwan, you have Chinese team, the Netherlands, Cuba, Italy, Panama. Cuba could come out of that. Pool B, Japan, Korea, Australia, China, Czech Republic. They have Pool A, is the Chinese Taipei?
Taipei.
Taipei.
There you go. So I would say the Czech Republic.
We really need to learn things.
Possibly. But, this is why Kyle should be on the podcast. He would correct this. He's very well-read. He's
I'd be shocked if he ever talks to you again.
I pay for him to talk to me, Todd. He's going to talk to me again. I mean, I put money in his account. That's like a collect call from prison. So I would say the Czech Republic doesn't have much of a shot in this one. So there's got to be degenerate gamblers, right? Isn't there odds?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what's the odds in DraftKings? Someone's got to give me the odds. I want to know what the Czech Republic odds are for World League. The Czech Republic, Israel, Great Britain, and how about Italy? The Italians. Italians can have a good baseball team, right?
Joey Gallo could be on the team.
I heard Mike Piazza's playing for Italy.
Get out of town.
Look at the rosters.
Todd's going to Taiwan.
Look at the rosters.
I just can't see the rosters on the site I'm on. They just give you the schedule.
Colombia is plus 13,000. Israel's plus 15,000. Italy plus 15,000. Great Britain plus 20,000. Czech Republic plus 50,000.
Czech Republic does not have a baseball team.
So $100 on the Czech Republic gets you $50,000.
$100 on the Czech Republic, as Dad would say, is $100 gone from your coffee account because you're not going to be able to buy coffee with that money.
But you could win.
You're right. They could upset some teams.
That's like Dumb and Dumber when the guy says, "You mean I got a chance?"
that is. Oh my Lord Almighty!
Who's playing for Italy?
Who's playing for? Well, Panama probably has a pretty good team. So, anyways, that's the good. You get more baseball in March, right? We got the good. We got more good with baseball. I think the World Baseball is going to be a fun time. For those that like freedom, Arizona, kind of free. Miami, a lot more free. And you can go enjoy both of those locations. Miami is going to be beautiful this time of year for those that want to check it out. And Arizona doesn't get any better. Golfing's fantastic. So it'll be a good time. I think America's got a good shot of going to the semifinal. You have the top two teams of each pool gets to go to the quarterfinals, then the semifinals, and then the championship, all of which will be played in Miami.
So
I'm married to an Italian. These Italians are suspect.
What you mean? They have Dominican?
I don't trust this Italian team. Well, Brett Sullivan from the Padres is a catcher. That's not Italian.
Yeah.
David Fletcher from the Angels.
Oh, I know.
Ravel Garcia. Nicky Lopez.
Yeah, I don't hear any.
The
Don't you have to have like a vowel at the end of your name?
Hey, hold on a second. Wait a second. There's a lot going on in this world where we're kind of like color on the outside of the lines. DEI is with us, and so is the same deal with these flags. All you got to have is like probably 25% of that country in you, and you're good.
Sal Frelick. He should be playing with the Netherlands, right?
What if he married into an Italian family? Does that count?
Yeah, but that doesn't make you Italian.
Right.
I'm just saying, you got to have lax rules here.
Matt Harvey's pitching for Italy.
Yes, he is. Are you being serious?
Yes, the Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
What were the odds for Italy?
Italy wasn't good.
What did we say the odds were for Italy?
I think Czech was 50,000. If I remember,
50,000 to 1.
Italy was 25, I thought, or
15,000 because of Matt Harvey.
Really increased the. So what is the Czech Republic team? It's like all the people who don't want to be in a war zone.
Ooh, well,
like you can play for the Czech Republic baseball team and get to go to Japan and never come back. They're like, sounds good to me.
Let me find out the Czech Republic roster for the World Baseball Classic.
I like how we're looking up the rosters that Todd said he's not interested in. Just so you.
This is how I'm not interested in. Well, now that I know that we've got, Harvey Dent or Matt Harvey is.
Harvey.
I got my Batman stuff confused.
So, where's the
Harvey Dent is pitching for Italy?
Where's the Joker played?
I don't even know any of these names on the Czech Republic team.
Why would you know any of the names of the Czech Republic?
Tell me what the last name sounds like. Does it sound like it's...
I can't even pronounce that. Daniel Barvusa?
Yeah, okay.
They're authentically Czech.
If you can't pronounce it, it could be Czech.
How come India doesn't have a team? Don't they play cricket? Can't they drum up a team that plays baseball?
Yeah, cricket's making an onslaught, by the way.
I know, but you would think that you could convert them over to baseball.
Mensik.
Oh, it's solid. Is Ovechkin playing more?
These are all legit.
Oh, no, he's Russia. We don't have
Jacob Tamar.
Dad, to your point, we're going to end this segment needs to end quickly, but to your point, Russia has nobody in the World Baseball League. You think if Russia and Ukraine had baseball league, they would have less war league.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's Dad's theory.
It's bringing us all together of the umbrella of baseball.
I want Keith Hernandez to announce one of the Czech Republic games just to say these names.
That would be pretty good. I'm going to go with some bad for a moment.
Yeah.
I would like to call out something that again occurs every year is the umpires. The umpires continue to me to be bad. How are they bad? The authoritative nature at which they try to pretend like they are the gospel of the baseball diamond. To Max Scherzer's point, it gives me a chance to control the game, and these umpires like to step in. It is very interesting with the pitch clock, watching these umpires try to take some control, and they're very knowledgeable in the fact that they are really run out. AAA now has robo umps. It's coming, so you're going to see a lot of umpires try to hold on to that power stick just a little longer, which again is never good. But the speed of the baseball game, you'll allow for some arguments between the umps and the managers over this pitch clock. That's for sure, and the umps will probably be wrong.
There's something in nature that says we should not have robo umpires. Baseball is a game of failure. You always fail. I mean, you're right. Like Dion says, you're going to make 7 outs out of every 10 and you go to the Hall of Fame. So it's a game of slumps, failures, embarrassments. It humiliates people. So fans go to the ballpark to cheer that maybe their failures might do it right. And then you got to have an enemy. And the enemy is the guy in blue. If you have a good home crowd, they're mad about every call he makes, even when he's right. They're screaming at him. But that's always been the history of the game. It is like Darth Vader at every base, dressed in dark color, trying to ruin your evening. If you eliminate them, then a lot of the fun goes away.
So it's like it is like the WWE. You need the heel or the villain in there. What was it? I saw it but Brendan, to your point, like with the umpires trying to wrestle away power, the thing I've seen with the pitch clock is they could feasibly take away pitches that they shouldn't be taking away. They could be placing stuff on the batters that they should be, I think the umpire has a lot more control over the game than we want to give him credit for now with the clock, because there's a little bit of subjectivity in there that I don't know if you're going to get video reviews on that stuff. I don't know if you're going to be able to appeal it. When that clock hits 0 for the pitcher, when does the call come? Does he have to start his delivery? What constitutes starting the delivery? Does he have to release the ball? Does he have to start the windup? Where does it come into play? I think there's a lot there for umpires to really kind of mess up and mess with.
I would agree with Dad about being angry with the umpires. Where the umpires lost me is when the MLB umpire union had a negotiation with MLB that removed close replays in a stadium to stop any revolting in a stadium against them. So if you're at a baseball stadium and you are not in a box and you don't have TV replay, a close play is never replayed in baseball in the stadium because of the Major League Baseball umpire union. That's why, again, to your point, Dad, I would give them some grace if they weren't so up a creek with their craziness, and they are crazy, and now they want, again, more control. You got to take the heat. They've negotiated away some of the fun for a fan. You got to be able to yell at them. And now that we got all the nets up, a fan's not climbing over the net at you. It's one of the best parts about hockey is you get to yell at the zebra. Come on, why are we not allowing these replays in a stadium? And they said they wanted it for crowd control. I've been to a lot of sporting events. Major League Baseball are not like the old Major League Baseball fans that used to go on the field and do crazy stuff. That just doesn't happen now.
But it's not. But it's also not as fun, right? Like there's. Go ahead.
There's been a change, I think, in the umpires. It seems to me that over the last 10 or more years, the umpires have been more confrontational. I've seen a lot of arguments that the umpires actually start.
What about this thing that happened in spring training with the Cardinals manager? Just because he had an argument with the umpire last season, he goes up to give the lineup card to the umpire. The umpire refuses to shake his hand.
Yeah, to me, it's an immediate suspension of the umpire. We don't do that either. But again, it's frustrating. But they signed up for this job, and in an era of instant replay, you have to bring that back into stadiums. You cannot let fans not see the close plays and judge the umpire. Now with review, they show the review now. Before we had review, they didn't show it. So they have shown the review. So if you challenge it, they will show that. But a close play that's not challenged, they will not show that. They don't want fans to be, oh my Lord. Anyways, that's the bad for me. The umpire, to your point, the umpires toning it down. I don't see that happening because, again, it's all about the power struggle. And we all know when you take away a little bit of power from good old Dad, he's going to get upset because he has had a few too many drinks. So don't get Daddy upset. So that's my bad. The ugly, I got to get to my ugly here. It's injuries. And the Dodgers, I know, Dad, you don't like the Dodgers, but you hate to see guys getting hurt.
Yep, that's true.
And watching Lux get hurt, and I don't know if anyone's seen that play, but you can watch it. We'll watch it here over and over again. He is running to third, a first and second, ground ball to the third baseman. He literally could run away, go walk to the pitching mound. That he's not making a play to third base. He's literally throwing it. When he throws it, Lux thinks he's in the line of the ball. So to adjust, he moves horizontally. His knee buckles terribly. It's just horrific. He's ripped it all up. He's done for the whole year. And he's a really good, fun, exciting player. He's young, very talented. And to watch that play, and you just knew it was terrible because of the way he was reacting. And the worst part about it is it was completely not necessary. It wasn't necessary for him to worry about getting thrown. It's so early in spring training, he could have just gave up the out and nobody would have been mad at him. It's just a freak play. That's all you can chalk it up to, is a freak play, and it's a sad, terribly sad injury.
Yeah,
What happens to the Dodgers now?
I'm reading that they're a little miffed. I think that you think they got the great minor. They'll do something. I mean, but that was their big part of their plans. We joke about players getting hurt and not being able to start the season, and we talk about it a lot. But I don't think anybody wants to see a guy's year end in a stupid practice game. I mean, it is terrible.
But it's not just the way it ended. That's a tough injury to come back from. He ripped up his knee so bad. I mean, I think it's the ACL. I think it's another. I mean, it's a surgery. It's a rehabilitation. Does he come back as the same player? Does he not? I mean, he has a long road ahead. So many prayers for Lux coming back. I know this is just. I mean, I've watched a lot of injuries. Like you watch a guy get injured running into the wall, what have you. But to get your knee ripped up running, and again. The other thing, we talked about this with baseball players, and especially baseball hitters, the torque you put on your knee is so big.
Yeah.
When you rip that knee up and you got to get it recovered, now you got to get back to that swing. So again, prayers to you. We hope you have a full recovery. It's very, very sad. It was ugly to watch.
Knee injuries are always ugly to watch. And you see them like football, and
you just don't see them much in baseball. You would see a foot, ankle, first base, things like that, but to see it on the base path, like it was a really weird injury.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Yep.
So it's sad. And Dodgers are loaded in the minors. It'll be interesting to see. It's definitely early, so they can certainly do things. But he was very much going to be counted on this year.
I think that one of the things I've learned tonight, that's going to make me sleep deprived, is, and I predicted it, the managers negating the shift by bringing the left fielder over, and all these things we thought, well, left-handed hitters are going to raise their average 10, 20 points, not so fast.
A moment of silence for Joey Gallo's career.
And I think Joey should have played for Italy in the World Baseball Classic.
Joey Gallo, a moment of silence.
He's more Italian than the Dark Knight.
Yeah, well, with Joey, here's the point.
Hold on. Can you talk about what they're doing first off for people who aren't watching the game? Okay, so everyone remembers last year where they would shift over the infield player, correct?
Yeah.
That is now. You cannot take your shortstop and move him over to second base, and take your second baseman and move in the outfield. So what are they doing?
Well, basically, 2 infielders have to be on the left side of second base, and 2 have to be on the right side. Now, second baseman could still play in the outfield, but you can't bring the shortstop over, okay? He has to stay on the left side. But they didn't say anything about outfielders. So to bring the left fielder over is not illegal. And so I actually said
left field wide open.
Yep, they are.
Yeah, they're basically saying you can get a free double for the price of a single.
Yeah, probably a triple.
Well, center fielder's probably going to scooch over a little bit, but why don't you just learn to slap the ball?
Yeah.
Because if you're doing that, you're taking away the person's chance at a home run. And Joey Gallo, as our example, is either a home run or a strikeout.
You know what this is? This is exactly like what Tom Brady used to do to win games. You're going to cover me? Guess what? Now I'm going to dink and dunk behind the line of scrimmage till you bring everybody up, and then I'm just going to throw it deep to Randy Moss. And so for one season, he actually could throw long because he just had to throw it over the defender's head because Randy Moss would get it. But you got to learn how to adapt your game to the way that they're playing you. And this is next level. How did they not think they were going to move the outfielders over? That's the other part. You're making this rule. Why don't you think it's just the infielder? You think they're not going to move the outfielders? Nice job, Major League Baseball.
But from a risk standpoint, I would think that they're going to do that. Like, let's just say you're ahead by 1 run. The guy's on first. You're not moving the outfielder over. Like, it's only can be if there's, because I get if he accidentally hits it over there, the game's tied. Because a guy at first base.
Accidentally. They can't even do it on purpose. How are they going to do it accidentally?
That's my point. I've tried really hard to defend the folks that can't hit it across the other way. It just drives me mad to watch. I don't understand why that is so.
Just learn to bunt. Like, learn to bunt in secret.
Yeah, I when they had the shift legal, the third baseman moved over. The shortstop had to play the whole left side, and you could bunt. You maybe could bunt a double, but you could bat 1,000 just putting a bunt on the ground down the third base line, and I never saw people trying it. I just said,
ever.
You know, my memory of baseball is don't try to hit a home run every time up. Get on base. We need base runners. And these guys today, that's not valued. You talk about Joey Gallo. He's not the only one. What did we read? That the Braves did not have a single sacrifice bunt all of last year.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, so it's
they deserve 4th place in the National League East because of that. Just that right there.
My gripe with Joey has nothing to do with poor Joey. It's a swing batter attitude. How can you pay Joey Gallo $11 million and the Dodgers get J.D. Martinez for 10? Where in the universe does that make sense?
Have you read the press between the two players, too? You would think that J.D. Martinez was the bad signing. Like, the press J.D. Martinez gets is like, why are you so sour? Why did you leave Boston? And Joey Gallo, it's like, oh, we love you. We're so happy you're with Minnesota. We're so excited you're here. I'm like, how did this happen? How did suddenly Joey Gallo become pretty? He's never been pretty.
You said he hired some PR firm to brush things up. Something's going on.
They did something, because I'll tell you right now, I watched J.D. Martinez with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he's played with Boston. If you watch J.D. Martinez play, the guy can just solidly rake. He's got a straight, solid, level swing. When he hits the ball, beautiful sound, he will rake for the Dodgers. Joey Gallo is either a home run or a striker. He does not rake. It doesn't happen. J.D. Martinez is a great signing. It's a great signing. In the light of Joey Gallo, it's amazing. It's an amazing signing. Any other uglies for you, Dad? I know that the injury to Lux has got to be by far the biggest gut punch for Major League Baseball.
I do confess that I watch injuries every day just to see, whose bubbles are getting burst, but I don't like to see it. That Lux thing is very, very disheartening. But we're going to see injuries. The team you think you're cheering for is not going to all be there on opening day.
Yep, and the other, if I remember correctly, the Braves outfielder had that terrible knee injury, and he wasn't with them when they won the World Series. He's fancy. He's the best. I think he's one of the best players the Braves had. Remember when they went the World Series?
Andrew Jones?
No.
Was it Acuna?
I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
Outfield.
Yeah.
The Braves lost their whole outfield. The 3 guys in the outfield when they won the World Series weren't even on the team until the end of the year. They went
again to your point. Injuries are going to happen. It's how deep your team is and how they play. And again, so you wanted to give us some more little ugly injuries that that are being reported.
I want to see who's going to decide to ruin their career in the World Baseball Classic.
Wow!
I just had to play for the Czech Republic.
Yeah, that would be pretty tragic. That would be pretty. Is that written in the contract? Is that an insurance policy if I pay for the World Baseball Classic? I know we had a.
But Ohtani's playing for Japan. That's got to be a risk. Like, if you're the Angels, are you sitting here going, "Well, okay"?
Wait. Is this the last year of his deal?
It is the last year of his deal.
If I was his agent, I would be losing my mind.
I'm losing my mind, and I don't even cheer for him.
That's crazy. Anyways, there's a couple more injuries that were pretty pretty, I think, comical. So the Padres had one, Dad.
Yeah, Joe Musgrove, all-star
Really good
pitcher, broke his toe.
Allegedly broke his toe. How did he break his toe?
Didn't he drop a weight on it in the weight room?
The story.
Yep.
That's one of the
What was
stories.
he doing? What was he doing? The gun show?
No, that is my opinion. This is when you get to creative baseball injuries where the player gets in early and he goes, the coaches come in, training staff comes in, he goes, I need to talk to you, man. I was in early. Oh, man, I think I did something to my toe. And they look at it, they go, you broke it? He goes, yeah, I dropped the weight on it. What they don't say is last night I was at this club in Scottsdale and I was having a great old time. And then we dropped this bottle of champagne and it hit my foot. And all I could think about is I got to get into that locker room at 6 a.m. and pretend like I was here to work out and drop the weight on it. Allegedly, we don't know how it happened, but I'm just saying that a lot of creative injuries occur in spring training. I think there's one other, I think...
Wait, are you doubting the veracity of Greasy Ears Musgrove?
Oh, you're right. He was probably doing weightlifting and with the ears. I forgot, so it just slipped right off of his hand. Did he grease up before he was lifting?
Yeah, he was lifting, and he was like, "I'm sweating behind the ears." So do a little. He goes down for a good clean and jerk, and it was all clean and no jerk, and that was it. That's why you got Musgrove. That's why you got to use chalk. If you use substances when you're lifting, chalk. Little dry the hands out. Just some weight gloves so you don't get calloused, right? And then you leave the Vaseline on your ears for when you're pitching.
He messed that up. He messed that up a little bit. I love the fact that, again, fantastic, great. I do remember that playoff. His ears were rather shiny.
He started.
Rather shiny. Dad, I think there was an oblique injury for another pitcher. I believe it's Tampa had...
Glass now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's, again, Todd, you're an expert on these because of DeGrom leaving the Mets.
Oh,
when you have
injuries? Yeah.
When you have one of those, here's the biggest thing. It's just like a hamstring. When you have one of those, when you think you're ready, and this is that's a terrible injury, just like a hamstring. You think you're ready, and you do one thing, and you're back. Like you lose 2-3 weeks. So you have to test it, and then you're like, I think I'm ready to go. And all it takes is one bad pitch, one bad movement, and you're like 4 weeks out again. And
he's 6 to 8 weeks out now.
Right. You got to take your time and fully hear it because, again, the hamstring's the same way. Hamstring injuries and the obliques, so stomach injuries, if you come back a little bit early and you pull it again, it's like double the time. They just double it because you cannot force that. The other problem is there's nothing you can do to treat it. You just have to let the person's body heal. So that's something to follow because it could turn into a 12-week injury and it could turn into he comes back, pitches 2 games, and he goes out. And you've seen it. I mean, you've seen it when a pitcher just is like, they did something and they're like, I got it. I can't do this. So that's going to be an interesting one to follow. Again, those are ugly injuries. Obviously, the ugliest was the Dodgers. Very, very sad. Lots of good, though. Lots of good. You want to know my favorite thing in spring training before we close this out?
Yes.
Your Kansas City, and yes, they're your Kansas City Royals, everybody, are 7-1 in the spring training.
Yes.
If you're going to give a spring training trophy away, it's Zach Greinke's Kansas City Royals.
An unstoppable train.
And if we were going to talk to a player about the pitch clock, why are we not getting interviews with Zach Greinke?
Oof.
He literally is the most OCD pitcher in the history of pitchers, and he would have so many great takes on the pitch count.
They're doing Zach Greinke quotes in the same level as Yogi Berra because he says so many bizarre things that it's hilarious. I got to look some up for next time.
Zach Greinke's, he is pure Velveeta liquid gold.
There was one about he started off by saying he hates guacamole, and in 2 sentences ended by saying how he likes to make his guacamole. It's just like, okay.
It's fantastic. Well, yeah, that's what we have so far. We have a fun spring training. If you can make it out to Arizona or Florida, we think it's a great time to do so. Baseball this time of year is just great for the kids. Players are in a great mood. Fan interaction has been top notch here in the Valley. So make it out there, talk to the players, get to watch some pro pitchers out there, pro hitters, everybody having a good time in the sun. And we're starting to warm up here in Arizona finally, and Florida is probably looking just as good. So, Dad, any closing remarks?
Well, I think I'm going to talk about this next time we meet, but everybody should remember that opening day for your home team is a national holiday, and no one works on that day. It's just the way it is.
Which, again, will not be like on other days where you don't work either. So it's just work the call for baseball. I mean, for those that have been mailing it in since COVID, hey, baseball's coming. Take a real PTO day. Todd, what do you got?
Zach Greinke was interviewed about what change he's going to make for 2023. And in the interview, he said he enjoys using data to get insight on his pitches. Yeah, he wants to really get into that. And he goes, I like it a lot because I believe in it. All those number things.
That grow out.
Especially because in Houston, they would call guys up that weren't even good prospects. And they'd say, this guy's going to be good because his pitchers do this. And the pitcher ended up being good. So with that level of data insight, I'm looking for big changes from Greinke this year.
Oh,
so I want more mascots back in baseball. I confess, I keep looking at Gritty from the Philadelphia Flyers. They did that one right. That is the best mascot in all of sports, and I think baseball needs to bring more mascots like that back.
I think the best one was the Expos.
Youppi.
Yep. But what you should have is you should have federally subsidized Washington National. So you know that's what we need. We have to
He
change the name.
He could be the Bill from Capitol Hill from Schoolhouse Rock. Could be the mascot for the Nationals.
How is
come out like I'm the Bill on Capitol Hill?
I got a better one.
Go ahead, Brennan.
How is the paperclip from Microsoft not a mascot for our terrible baseball team?
Microsoft's in Seattle, so Seattle could have the 7th inning Clippy showdown, where Clippy comes out and gives you a tip on how to use Microsoft Word, and then runs a race against a stapler to see who's the best Office product. I don't know.
If I was going to get a mascot for a federally owned team, I'd have a guy in a 3-piece suit with money coming out of all his pockets, just all kinds of cash walking around. That would symbolize it for me.
And speaking of which, this podcast was brought to you by the federal government, because they paid for it. They're our sponsors. We just got $1 trillion, so I don't know what to do with it. But IDO, we won't start a war. I can tell you that much. That's all we got, everybody. We're Swing Batter, and we love this time of year. This is going to be a good time. Baseball's going to be roaring here soon. And we're out. Thank you so much. Bye now.